Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Living in Livonia. Today I'm with none other than our esteemed Superintendent of Livonia Public Schools, Mrs. Andrea Oquist. Andrea, thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely, Dave. We're thrilled to be here with you.
Now, I have the pleasure of knowing your background and how you got to the office you're in now, but I don't think our audience does. Can you give us just kind of where you started in the district, in the city, and kind of what your path was to the big chair?
Sure, absolutely. This is my 37th year, so I've spent a little time here, and that's just the time I've actually been working. I actually started when I was 5 years old. Started as a kindergartner at Hayes Elementary, went up through Clay and Holmes Middle School, and it was a 1985 graduate of Stevenson High School. So we just celebrated our 40th reunion, and that was great to reconnect with old friends from Stevenson. But really my journey started really through a family that is just steeped in education and steeped in Livonia Public Schools, which is really a point of pride for me and for all of us. My first job here actually was when I was 17 years old. I worked on the summer maintenance crew that is
my favorite part of this.
As a recent graduate. So I did not expect when I showed up at 5:30 in the morning that what I was going to be doing was pulling up sod and painting lockers and pulling weeds across 24 schools and all of those things. But I have to tell you, it always brings a little bit of a chuckle and a little bit of an interesting way to start. But I have to tell you, I've never let that leave me in LPS, because we've got almost 2,000 people that are part of our LPS staff family. 1,000 of them are the people we're most familiar with, our teachers, our principals, but there's another 1,000 people that make this district go each and every day. Our secretaries, our custodians, our maintenance folks, our drivers, our food service. And so I guess my career starting out, seeing that behind the scenes, helped me to have such an appreciation for all that it takes to welcome our kiddos each and every day. So it started there, and then I came back from college as a student teacher. I got hired at Randolph, and after 4 years became a principal and spent about 16 years in just the best job in the world, being a principal at a few of our elementary schools. And then I became a part of the superintendent's cabinet in 2010, and now I'm in my 11th year as superintendent here in Livonia Public Schools. And I can tell you, next to my immediate family and, of course, my extended family, there's nothing that means more to me than LPS.
Well, and I can attest, I've never seen you talk to someone in the district who you didn't know, and not just on a surface level, actually know, which I think shows a lot of not the top-down, but kind of bottom-up leadership that prevails throughout any building I've been in, at least. So it's very reflective of your style, which I think is powerful.
Thank you.
So clearly there is a lot of pride in the city and the district there. Yeah. What are some of the things happening at LPS that you are most excited about right now?
What we're doing at a couple of different places. I want to talk just for a moment about facilities and our properties, and then also about our programming. Because one of the things that makes LPS so unique is we have a tremendous amount of generational pride. If you go to our schools, you see grandparents coming into open house that are finding their locker when they went to school there, and they're watching their kids bring their kids. So we know that the sense of tradition and foundation is so important. What's unique, though, is we also have a very future forward focus. We are certain to be innovative in our approaches to meeting the needs of kids. And so when I think about our first new build in 50 years, our early childhood center, we start at that end of the continuum, that bookend, where we welcome our youngest learners into this facility that was designed truly just for them. And then as we move through our schools, we end with experiences at our high schools that are truly comprehensive high schools that offer such a wide variety of programmings and opportunities, which I know we'll get into. But I think about our new robotics center that we created as part of our Livonia Career Technical Center that has just been a place of ingenuity and inspiration for our students, but also the students that we partner with from other districts. So across the board, one of the things that makes me so excited is, well, we have very focused core priorities, and those aren't fleeting. Those don't change year to year. But what we do look for are the ways that we can continue to level up.
LPS as a district has a lot of unique programs and some magnet programs from not only kind of your K-4 into the middle school through the high school.
Yeah.
What are some of the offerings that Livonia Public Schools has that you might not find in a surrounding district?
Sure. That's a great question, because one of the things in a large district, we're the 9th largest district in the state, and one of the things that allows us to do is to have such a wide variety of offerings. When you are at what I call a 3 high school town, you're able to have some specialized programs. So at Churchill High School, for instance, we have our CAPA program, our Creative and Performing Arts. We also have our MSc. It's for our highest level learners in the area of math, science, and computers. And so at Churchill is really a hub for those programs. At Stevenson, we have just a renowned program of our global education, a tremendous program that provides students such a leg up as they go into college and as they go into their next steps of their journey. At Franklin, we have our culinary arts program, and they have their own restaurant, the Patriot Inn.
That's awesome.
And so at each of our high schools, we're able to focus in on those. And of course, just a jewel of our district is the Livonia Career Technical Center. CTE programming and career technical programming has been part of Livonia Public Schools for over 45 years.
And we have people come from not only all over the state, but other parts of the country to tour that building.
We do. And those programs have continued to expand. It's always been a strong offering, not only the programming there, but the career intern program offering. So our students have an opportunity to have those internships in real world experiences. But we've never had the number of students requesting programming there that we do now. They just continue to level up and offer certifications that get our students right into the world of work and immediately give them a leg up.
Well, and having recently learned how not only where the pre-med gets our students, but I was so impressed that the building trades, those guys and gals are ready to take they've done the 60 pre-hours. They're ready to take the building license test right out of high school, which I'll tell you, for a young entrepreneur or someone who wants to get onto a crew, I mean, that's incredible.
Absolutely. That being OSHA trained. And so whether it's in the mechanics or building trades, or if you, like you said, if you go off to the medical, just this year, we had our first group of students who are FAA certified as drone pilots. And so that is just a growing area. And that is actually part of our criminal justice program. We now have 150 students in our criminal justice program alone.
Wow.
And so the program offerings continue to expand. And where we used to be able to take in a number of students from Northville and from other districts that were seeking those amazing opportunities, we have so many of our own students that want programming there. We're only able to offer that to a handful of students outside of the district.
Well, I'm glad that we're taking full advantage of it.
We are.
So obviously, as we're talking, the district is so focused on helping kids find their strongest academic area and excelling there.
Yeah.
What else are we doing for the whole student, right? Because it's not just the academics that LPS is focused on. What are some of the things we're doing to kind of treat the whole person when they come to school?
Yeah. I really like to think that is one of the things that's a standout about LPS. We feel so wholeheartedly about meeting the needs of the whole child. And really, when we think about that, we think about their social emotional aspect, we think about the behavioral aspect, we think about just their well-being in general, and of course, as academic learners. But we know we can't even begin to get to that academic learner until we have that foundation of again, a sense of well-being, a sense of safety for our students. And so we have invested so much, Dave, in social emotional supports and in a meaningful way. So we have full-time psychologists and social workers at every one of our upper elementary, middle school, and high schools. We have 2 elementary support teachers at every K-4 school. And we have grown in our behavior interventionists and specialists and those folks that are able to not only support our students directly, but as importantly, help the rest of our staff know how to build and be that support system for our students. One of the things that we believe at our core is that every child needs to have at least one trusted adult in school that they can go to. It doesn't have to be their teacher. It certainly can be. but that they know that there's someone that they can go to, that they can trust. And we survey students about this regularly. And they tell us that they not only have one, but oftentimes more than one of those really trusted adults. That is essential to us. We care deeply from the tips of their heads to the tops of their toes about who they are. And we've never seen that more necessary than since we've come out of the pandemic.
What I think that's so, because obviously you hope every kid gets a full night's sleep, a big breakfast, and a kiss and a pat on the way out the door.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always happen. And I think being cognizant of that and having that holistic approach in the buildings is just so powerful. So something that I know I'm personally excited about and something our community has been huge supporters in, what are some of the investments we've been able to make in the buildings that you're most excited about?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Very much so.
We couldn't do it without our community. I will tell you that. This is a community like no other. When you think about the fact that 75% of our residents don't have children in school, and yet they come out so big to love on our kids and to support them through our bond issues, our sinking fund, our enhancement millage. And we take that with such seriousness, and we are such really strong fiscal stewards, because what we've been able to do is invest over $500 million in the past decade into our facilities. We know our schools were built primarily in the 60s, maybe a couple in the 50s, a couple in the 70s, but primarily in the 60s. And they were starting to show their age, even though we have truly the best team of maintenance and ops that you could ask for. We knew we needed to reinvest. So we had the bond in 2013, which covered quite a bit of the really the nuts and bolts. We're not talking the chandeliers. And then we moved on in 2021 to really take a look at the media centers and how do we think about those as new collaborative spaces for our students and our staff, our kitchens, our many of our surround areas that really needed that attention. Additionally, through the sinking fund, we've been able to renovate in a really significant way our fields and our athletic facilities, which has been such a huge draw for our community. And so our performing arts centers at the high schools, our media centers across the board, we've created idea factories in every school, kindergarten through 8th grade. And our idea factories are where that STEM learning happens. And so when we talk about ingenuity and we talk about problem solving and kids really just peeling the onion back and solving problems together, the idea factories are a great place to do that.
Well, and when you see them in that environment, especially the little, I won't say tricking, but they don't even know that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So to fall in love with that type of learning and those activities at that age is just so powerful, because you would hope that continues into middle and then high school, and we're putting out some pretty big deal scientists and mathematicians and things like that. So just so interesting to see that.
It really is. I was talking to a first grader a few months back when I was visiting her classroom, and they were about ready to go to what we call PLTW, or Project Lead the Way. It's our STEM curriculum that every student has is part of kindergarten through 6th grade every week. And I said, tell me, what do you think about it? What do you think about PLTW? And she said, I don't know how to explain it, but like I get this feeling in my tummy, like I'm excited. And I get that feeling every time I know I'm going to go to that class. And I thought, oh my goodness, those butterflies that she was talking about, that sense of excitement and anticipation for what I'm going to get to do in school. What more could we want?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the excited to get on the bus, and that's fantastic. So, which that leads really well into kind of where I wanted to go next. And not every kid is going to have the same learning style or the same potential in different areas.
Sure.
So what does the district do to kind of find students where they're at and help elevate them to their ceiling of achievement?
Right. So that's a really great question, and it's complex. I'll talk a little bit about maybe students with special needs, and then talk about just different programming that we have beyond that, because this really has become a destination district for families with students with special needs, and we are so proud of that. It is not just a saying when we say all means all. When we talk about opportunities for students, we mean that for every one of our students. And so we start with babies and working in the home with students with some developmental challenges and difficulties all the way through age 26. And we have programming that fits their needs individually, throughout that continuum. And that takes place right in our schools. It's not a separate school. It's not a separate place. It's embedded within an inclusive way within our schools, depending on the needs of our students. So that's something that our student services team is so committed to the well-being of our students. And the staff that works with our kiddos are just truly so focused on their individualized needs and also their ceiling, right? We want to see them soar. We want to see them grow. And we never want to limit what we believe can be achieved by any one of our kids. So that's really one aspect of it. The other is making sure that we're never gatekeeping about opportunities to kids. And so whether it's theater, whether it's music or orchestra, whether it's arts or other programming, we never want it to be based on prior experience. We want to say, what truly do you have dreams to do? Where do you believe your talents lie? Where is your passion? Because one of the best things about LPS are the amount of opportunities we have for kids to explore so many of those areas. And we have a lot of those opportunities at each one of our schools. But as we talked about earlier, we also have places kids can go, whether it's for that specialized theater programming or it's specialized programming for gifted and talented students at Webster or at Frost or at Churchill. Those opportunities are embedded throughout the district. And so if that's one thing I will often hear from parents. I love living in this community. I've lived here my whole life, and Jeff and I make our home here. Both of our children graduated from LPS, and I love seeing families in the grocery store, at Laurel Park. I don't go there too often, but in a restaurant. But what I love to hear is, I chose my home because of Livonia Public Schools. And I can't tell you how much I take that to heart, because I know what a leap of faith it is when you send your kiddo on the bus or when you drop them off at one of our schools. You are sending your everything to us. And I never take off my mom hat when I make decisions. So while I've been an educator and a principal and served in different roles, yes, the maintenance department, the one hat I never take off is that of being a mom. And I try to imagine what each and every one of our parents would want for their child. And we love our parents partnering with us. They are welcome in our schools. This is where we want them to be. And we want them to truly join us on this journey for their child.
To share with the community, and there's a million examples, I'm sure, but just maybe a couple. What are some achievements that maybe either whether it's a building program or even a specific student or team, what are a couple achievements that whether it could be robotics, obviously,
right?
What are some achievements that a group or a team or a student at LPS have achieved recently that we want the community to know about?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Gosh, how long do you have, right?
Well, I know the points of pride that we go through every meeting is amazing.
They are. Well, our robotics program really is award winning. And the neat thing is our Tyros team is our 9th grade team. Our Warriors team is 10th through 12th. It's all 3 high schools coming together. And they have won awards at the state level, at the international level. They continue to just accelerate each and every year. And so they truly are an award-winning team year after year. And what they've built off of that are programs at the middle school and the elementary schools. And so our Robo Bears at Buchanan and our Robo Eagles at Emerson. And so those offshoots are just going to continue to expand that program. We have a number of our educators, whether it is in music or art or foods. We have a number of our educators who have been named State Educator of the Year in their content area, in their domain. And we have many who have served on not only county but state level committees to be part of shaping the curriculum for the future. And our students from our athletes continue to excel. We just had our Franklin POM team has been just perennial state champs and state champ runner-ups, and our JV team just won states last weekend. And we continue to see that excitement, whether it's in wrestling, in hockey, in football, in basketball, and those district wins, those regional wins. And each one of those is the result, as you know, of months and months and months of effort on the part of student athletes, their coaches, our athletic directors. It's such a comprehensive set of offerings. And so whether it's the MSBOA Festival for our students performing their pieces either vocally, in orchestra or in band, or doing sight reading, those festivals, our students continue to get superior ratings across the board. So it would be hard to limit in just one area. But I would also say just a recent example, because we are the Motor City, we had students from the Career Center whose posters were chosen to represent the Detroit Auto Show.
Oh, that's right.
And who were on display down at the DIA. And so really my mind just soars with all of the different things that we could highlight. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of is what we're building in our students. We've recently really focused on the portrait of a graduate.
Well, and that leads into my last question for you here today.
Absolutely.
If let's say you've got somebody watching who is making considerations for where they want to put their roots down and raise their kiddos, and obviously a school district is going to play a big part in that.
No doubt.
What is something that you would want them to take away from this as kind of, this is why you would want to choose Livonia Public Schools?
Yeah. I think relationships are at our core. That would be the first thing I would say. We talk a lot about the importance of having those core character traits where we treat one another with respect, we treat one another with kindness and integrity, and we build that all into what we've created as a portrait of a graduate in Livonia Public Schools. And it is a 13-year journey. It begins in kindergarten and oftentimes in pre-K, and then continues on until our students, as you've had the pleasure of doing, crossing the stage and being handed their diploma by one of our amazing board members. And that culminating moment, as they leave us, we want them to have been built into the portrait of an LPS graduate who is curious and confident, who is able to collaborate with others and be a critical thinker, and be a strong communicator with not only the fellow students, but as they go out into the community to represent not only themselves, their family, their school district in a way that makes them proud. So they've already made us proud. We want them to leave ready and poised for success in believing in everything that they've taken from here and what they'll do next. We believe Livonia Public Schools works to do that with each and every child. Again, I've committed to having my own children here. There is nowhere I would rather be, work, or live. And I realize I may be a little bit biased, but I do want families to know that this is an exceptional place. We are a big district and it's a large city, but when you're here, you're home and you're part of our LPS family. And we mean that. It starts with one relationship at a time. Each child is a unique learner, and we know we're getting the most important person in the world to you, and we'll never take that for granted.
Well, excellent. And then one bonus question.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
With a large collegiate basketball tournament coming up,
Okay.
I may or may not be sampling and doing a bracket for locally owned pizzerias. If you
Great idea.
were relegated to one pizza place in perpetuity, which one would you pick? You had to call it. You could only order from this joint. Where would you settle on?
Okay, there's a lot of good ones
And
in
it's
our
not
city.
meant to be an easy
right? It is not. Boy, I thought I would be able to get all of these pretty easily. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go with Zeno's.
Okay.
Zeno's is it.
They are on the bracket, so we'll see how they fare. Yep.
I'll tell you what, from their pizzas to their subs, they do it all, and they are a fan favorite. I know of a lot of our schools, but certainly of our household as well.
Their party subs are truly a thing of
They are.
Well, Superintendent Oquist, Andrea, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
It's been my pleasure.
I hope we have shared a lot of great information for why, if you're trying to look for a school, and obviously I'm a little biased too.
Yeah.
I'm a graduate, my kids are students, and I'm on the board, and I think that this is the greatest place to send your kiddo through public school. But I thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
I know you've got a lot going on, but we really appreciate it.
It was great to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.